Okay, good morning, everybody, anybody who's watching. I woke up this morning, it's my 4th day of my home quarantine, and decided to do my practice, which I normally do about between 8 a.m., 9 a.m. The earlier the better, but of course it depends on when I can actually get myself out of bed and if I can be motivated enough to do my practice early in the morning. Most of the times that I decide to do my practice early in the morning, I feel that I have a much better day, so I try to do it early if possible. And of course have my coffee in the morning to help me get motivated to do my practice. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and record my practice this morning and share that maybe. Actually, I'm right this moment. I haven't decided yet if I will actually share this. I'll have to watch it later. But for now, I'm going to record my morning practice and then potentially share it, and you can use that to try to practice it yourself if you want. And since it's just me recording with my iPhone and I don't have multiple cameras or any special setup, you'll just have to rely on audible cues that I will record later. Okay, good morning. Happy Wednesday morning. I believe this is Wednesday, my 4th day of home quarantine. And I woke up this morning at, what time is it, 7, and decided that perhaps this morning I would go ahead and record my morning practice. Right now, I'm trying to do my practice in the morning so that it sets the tone for the rest of my day. The earlier the better. Usually I can manage to get myself out of bed about 7 and then start my practice at 8. And I typically practice for about an hour and 15 minutes, and more or less depending on the day. I used to be really rigid in the way that I would practice, feel that I had to do 1.5 hours of practice or minimum 1 hour. And while I normally practice for about 1 hour every day, I don't really hold myself to this requirement anymore. Some days I wake up and my body feels like 20 minutes of practice or 30 minutes. I don't really make a requirement for myself anymore on how long I need to practice. I let the feeling in my body guide me into what feels right on any particular day. And so obviously sometimes that's more or less. And so I guess, that's something that I would encourage anybody watching or, any of my students that are watching this to do as well. Practice as long as feels right for you, and maybe today you might want to try the whole practice, which will be over an hour, and maybe not. And so, I just don't think there's anything wrong with, people feel really guilty, say, doing half of a practice. I think it's unnecessary to feel guilt for that. Maybe today you watch and you do half and you're good. So, yeah. But coffee helps. Okay, so since I'm doing this, I'll take the opportunity to explain a little bit about the way I practice, because people have asked me a lot about what is Ghosh yoga, or what is the yoga that I do, and some of the terminology I use that seems to be different from other people. Well, let me tell you what gift yoga is, which is what I call my own personal practice. It doesn't matter. That's not a brand. That's not a style. That's just a word I like to use to identify what it is I'm doing, which is really putting together my own personal practice. You know, I pick and choose the elements that really feel right for me, and over the years, you know, I've made a meal that is very enjoyable for me to eat. So what are those things? Well, my practice currently consists of about 3 key ingredients in my recipe. And the main one, which a lot of people have heard me talk about before, is Ghosh Yoga. And what is Ghosh Yoga? Ghosh Yoga has its historic connection to Vishnu Ghosh of Calcutta. It's a style of Hatha Yoga. And for me, basically, that means it's a particular set of asana that I practice. And I practice my asana in the style and according to the instructions of my teacher, Tony Sanchez, who I studied with in Spain. Tony Sanchez is also a Ghosh lineage Hatha Yoga teacher who's an amazing, amazing teacher, and I recommend people look him up and see what he's doing on Instagram and his website. He's an amazing person to study with, and I credit Tony Sanchez with really being the first yoga teacher that gave me an example of what it could mean to be a good yoga teacher and what a good yoga teacher didn't have to do. And also with being the first teacher to show me or to give me the feeling that it was okay to modify my practice, that it was okay to take a set sequence and break it apart and make that sequence my own. And of course, ever since studying with him, that's what I've done. I've allowed myself to essentially create a sequence based on sequences I've learned, but essentially a sequence of my own. So, and I continue to modify that as well. I take postures out, I put postures in, and I let the feeling of my body guide that. So, Ghosh Yoga Asana, Ghosh Yoga Hatha Asana. I also spent a month last year with teachers Anna Forrest and Jose Calerico, and these two teachers are amazing. If you've never taken a Forrest yoga class, I highly recommend it, and if you ever get the chance to go practice, do a workshop with Anna Forrest and Jose Calerico, I 2000% recommend doing that. What they do is amazing. It's amazing, and the yoga that they do is really focused on healing. But the inspiration that I received from them really has a lot to do with the musicality, the music elements and the ceremonial elements that they've brought into yoga. And after spending a month with them, I really felt that that was something that I needed in my practice. It really resonated with me. I wanted to inject some ceremonial elements. I felt very strongly about the music, that I needed something musical in my practice. And so that's what I've done. I use music in my practice. I use music in the class that I share with other people. And that's a lot of didgeridoos and a lot of drumming and some mantra chants that really feel good for me when I listen to, and I feel really add this element to my practice that brings the right energy into me and into my practice, and I really enjoy it. So The third thing that is a big part of my practice now is kind of the principles. And I like to use the word the philosophy. So I've got asana, I've got ceremony and music for my spirit, and then I now have a set of principles, a guiding set of principles. And the principles that I adhere to now that resonate with me are the principles that were given by Krishnamacharya. And I've learned these principles through my teacher, Mark Whitwell, who is also an amazing teacher, and I'm very grateful for what he's brought into my consciousness about yoga and how his teachings have impacted and evolved what I'm doing and how I understand and how I practice yoga. So we've got asana, Ghosh style Hatha yoga. We've got ceremony and music, thanks to Anna Forrest and Jose Calerca. And I've got principles of yoga set forth by Krishnamacharya, as I've received from Mark Whitwell. Okay. So this is how I put together my practice, and I think the main principle that I encourage my students to consider so there are a few things that close the blind a little bit. Okay. So there are a few things that I encourage students who attend a class to consider and to so there are a few things that I encourage students who join my class to consider while practicing. And the first one is to let go of any ideas that you have about what yoga is supposed to look like and what you're supposed to achieve while practicing. Let go of all that. There's nothing that you need to accomplish in your practice. There's nothing that you need to achieve. Your body doesn't need to be forced into any kind of arbitrary idea of what a posture should look like. Let go of all that and instead allow yourself to practice yoga and every asana, even if it looks difficult, in the way that feels right for your own body, right? This is part of that principle of embracing your reality. You can practice any yoga, you can practice any style, but do that in a way that really feels right for you and is compassionate, That doesn't mean practice in a gentle way necessarily. You can practice your yoga powerfully, but make sure that the power that you put into your yoga, the energy that you put into your yoga is appropriate and feels right. And you can get to that place of practicing appropriately by letting go of all these ideas that we now have about what yoga is supposed to look like and what you're supposed to achieve in yoga. Things like a certain level of alignment, a certain level of depth, flexibility, or strength. None of these things are really part of the core principle of practicing yoga. That doesn't mean that those things can't be goals that you have. That doesn't mean that those things can't be something that you put some energy and effort into. But those things aren't the real point of what we're doing. So let go of those things and and instead focus on your breath, and really having a conscious awareness of your breath is what is going to help you be in your body and know what is right for your body while practicing. So focus on your breath and do that for the whole practice, right? Deep breathing the whole practice. If you pay more attention to your breath than the postures themselves, then that breath will guide you into an appropriate practice of any posture. So, yeah. Okay. I guess that's my introduction. I know it's a little long. Maybe later I can edit and put a little text in there that shows people where the beginning of the actual practice is, so you can skip all this. But I think these things are important, and if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this video. I'd like to just put these ideas in here because this is how I practice, and what I want to put forth here, if I'm going to put forth a video, is showing people how I practice, and this is how I think about yoga, and this is how I practice, and that's important. I think that's important to share, and not just show you an image of how I practice and say, here, do these things, because I don't want to. I'm not putting something out there that is meant to be a visual guide for what you need to do. I want this to feel like a sharing of something that I do, and if things in this resonate with you and feel right, then you do that. And have the courage to allow your body and your intuition to guide you into a yoga practice that's right for you, not a yoga practice that's right for me or anybody else. Take it as inspiration. Take it as a guidance, maybe, into the possibilities of what could resonate with you and what could work for you. But allow your intuition and your breath and your body to subtly tell you what's working and what's not working. Yeah. Because that's what's really important. It's, even my students that come to my class, here is a yoga class, and here is a sequence, and here's a style. But take these things home and try turning off all the guidance and turning off all the teachings and practicing, and allow yourself to create a practice of your own, right? And that could be, like I said before, that could be 10 minutes, that could be 20 minutes, that could be 40 minutes every day. But don't let anybody's ideas of what yoga has to be decide for you how you practice. If all you have is 10 minutes, and 10 minutes feels right for you, and all your body can handle is some very simple arm movements and breathing, then you do that, and that's okay. And that's yoga, right? So free yourself. Yoga, my teacher would say, yoga is freedom, Do your yoga and allow yourself the freedom to do your yoga, to do it in the way that's right for you, Free from outside influences, including, influences from people like me. Take what's right, My teacher, Tony Sanchez, would say, you come here and you take what you want and you leave the rest, right? That just means You know, yoga is your yoga and is a recipe, and you take the ingredients that resonate with you, and you create yourself a meal that you want to eat, you know, and maybe you share that with other people, and they enjoy it too. And if they don't, that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Before I practice, I often like to do a ritual of some kind. Sometimes that's lighting some incense and walking around my space, walking around my apartment, just kind of clearing out the space with the smoke. I like to put a few drops of essential oils into this infuser, and it creates a nice smell in my space. And I really like a nice smell when I practice. When I practiced for a month with Anna Forrest and Jose Calerco, they really inspired me to bring ceremony and ritual into my practice in small ways of my own choice. And I encourage other people to do that as well. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate or fancy, something really simple. If you want to, you can even create your own art altar, like I have. A few objects, a few pictures that help remind you of certain ideas that you like to hold space for. And I just think it's a nice way to begin my practice. I like to start my practice by just sitting still in any comfortable seated position. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. Just sit on the floor in a way that's comfortable for yourself and slow down. If you have long hair, tying your hair back in a ponytail so that it doesn't get into your face is also useful. It's also a moment for me to turn on my deep breathing, activate my lungs, and feel my breath in an intentional way. And also bringing my awareness to my body through my breath, relaxing my muscles, relaxing my mind, just bringing myself here to where I am, into myself, into my body. And I like to, some people say set an intention, but maybe think about something, maybe sometimes it's, how can I embrace, my body and my reality? Or how can I, in times like this, let go of fear while I practice and embrace reality? So stand up, get ready to practice, come to the front of your mat, and just relax your knees, relax your joints. Bring the weight onto the front of your feet. Keep your feet about a fist's width apart. And start deep breathing. So you're going to inhale. Open your arms up wide and lift your chest and fill your lungs. And then exhale, round forward, and push all the air out using your belly. Inhale, open your arms wide, fill your lungs, drop your head back. And then exhale, push all the air out. Inhale, fill your lungs, lift your chest, and then exhale, push all the air out.
inhale, open your arms, expand your chest, and then exhale, push the air out. Stop, relax, and then begin doing this breathing exercise. It's very simple. Just inhale and lift your arms up overhead, looking up at your fingertips. And then exhale, round the arms down. Inhale, let the breath be the body movement. And then exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Look up at your fingertips. And then exhale, forward fold, nice and gentle. Pause. Then inhale, all the way back up, arms reaching up. Exhale, forward fold, all the way down. Inhale, standing, reaching. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up again. And then exhale, forward fold. Now stay here, take a few breaths in your forward fold. 2, 3, maybe even 5 breaths. Without pulling or straining, just relax. There's no effort. Then inhale, raise your arms all the way up, and then hands to heart. Take a sacred pause. Allow yourself a moment of stillness. Bring your attention into your body. Now inhale, raise your arms, exhale, forward fold, and then you're going to step all the way back with your right foot. Drop your right knee down, inhale, raise your arms up. Take a few breaths, and then on an exhale, bring your arms down to the mat. Step your right foot back into a plank. Drop your knees down, your chest. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog, and then right back to a downward facing dog. Take a moment, step your right foot forward, drop your left knee down, and then inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, arms down, step back into plank. Another vinyasa, knees down, chest down, cobra or upward facing dog, right back to upward, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Gently walk your feet forward. Inhale and exhale into your forward fold, nice and gentle. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Hands to heart. Take a pause. Inhale, raise your arms up. Drop your head back, relax your neck. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, you can do a very gentle backward bend. You don't have to go far back in your backward bend. Maybe just the sensation of a backward bend. Maybe you're barely backward bending at all. It's not important. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Take a few breaths with your hands flat on the mat. Weight in your hands and bringing your forehead closer to your shins, but don't strain. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, bend your knees, sit down on your heels, forehead close to the knees. You're rounding your upper back. On an exhale, step back with your right foot. Look forward. Then step back with your left foot into plank. And take a few breaths here. Nice and easy. You're breathing the whole time. The body movement is the breath movement. Let the breath guide you in your posture. Inhale, lift your right foot. Bring it down. Inhale, lift your left foot. Exhale, down. Shift your weight to your left hand, and on an exhale, open up to your right. Reach up with your right hand. Look up at your fingertips, but don't jam your neck. Exhale, right hand down. Shift to your right hand, roll open to your left, reach up, look up at your left fingertips. Inhale, and then exhale, left hand back down into plank. Exhale, chaturanga or knees, chest, then inhale, upward facing dog, and stay here, take a few breaths, nice and gentle, upward facing dog. And then on an exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Take about 5 breaths in your downward dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward, look forward, step your left foot forward, bend your knees, sit down on your heels, forehead to your knees. Engage your abdominal muscles. Get your hands flat on the mat with weight on them. Take a breath, and as you exhale, extend the back of your legs. Tuck your chin in. Stretch the back of your legs, but not aggressively. Nice and gentle. Forward fold. A few breaths. And then inhale, come all the way back up to standing. Reach up at the end. And then exhale, hands to heart. Take a sacred pause. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Inhale your arms all the way up, palms together. You can interlace your fingers, or you can just cross your thumbs, or you could grab a wrist. I like to do a little bit of movement here before I do the pose. Left and right a few times. When you're ready, inhale, reach up, and then exhale, come down to your right. Again, find a way to do the posture that's comfortable. If you have tight shoulders like me, just holding onto a wrist gently can be comfortable. Come back up to center, inhale, and then exhale down to your left. There's no need to go deep in the posture or strain or pull or push. Just breathe. Let your breath be the body movement. Inhale, come back up. Reach up, drop your head back, relax your neck, and on your exhale, gently backward bend. As you can see, I don't go far back. You don't have to go far back. You don't need to reach back. Just a gentle backward bend. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Here I like to walk my feet out a little bit, bend my knees. You can do this 3 or 4 times. Then take an inhale, exhale, bring your hands behind your ankles or under your heels and stretch your torso forward, bringing your forehead closer to your shins. But don't pull or strain. Don't be aggressive, be natural, and make sure you can breathe in the posture. Release, adjust, and then inhale, come all the way back up to standing. Hands to heart. Sacred pause. Triangle posture. You're going to turn, or you're going to walk out of the frame, get a drink of water, and then adjust the light because the sun is burning your face. Triangle pose. Turn to your right, step your right foot wide, or don't. Start over. That's where I was going to cut. Step your right foot wide, turn your right toes out, arms up parallel to the ground. On an exhale, bend your right knee and come down to your right. Right hand is right by your right foot. Or sometimes I like to rest my forearm on my knee, reach up with your left hand, look up at the fingertips without jamming or straining your neck. Nice and gentle. No need to have a perfect form. Inhale, come back up, right toes in, left toes out, other side. Bend your knee, exhale down, left fingers by the left foot, reach up with your right hand, look up at your right fingertips. Again, if you're jamming your neck, relax your neck. A few breaths here. Then inhale, come back up, left toes in, then step your right foot next to your left, reach up at the end, and then hands to heart. Take a pause. Then turn, face the back, twisted triangle. Take a step forward with your right foot. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. You're going to bring your left hand to the outside of your right foot, either flat on the ground or up on your fingertips if you need a little bit more leverage. I'm going to start with some movements. So inhale, raise your right hand, exhale, lower. Inhale, raise, exhale, lower. Inhale, raise, exhale, lower. You're twisting to the right. On the fifth one or fourth, keep your hand up, look up at your fingertips, and breathe. About 5 breaths in every posture. Or 4 or 3. Exhale, bring your right hand down, readjust, and then inhale, come all the way back up. Swivel your feet, face the front, other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. This time, bring your right hand to the outside of your left foot and start with some movements. Inhale, raise the left hand. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, raise the left hand. Exhale, bring it down. Not aggressively, just nice, smooth movement. On about the 4th or the 5th, then keep your left hand up. Reach up, look up at your fingertips, and breathe. No straining, just breathing, nice and normal. Then on an exhale, bring your hand down, straighten your body, and then inhale, come all the way back up. Turn to face the back, standing separately, leg head to knee. So I do movements here too, as you can see. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bring your forehead to your knee. Inhale, come up. Exhale, forehead to the knee. Inhale, you can look up at your hands if you want. Exhale, forehead to the knee. You do that about 4 or 5 times, and then exhale, round forward. Keep your chin tucked in, forehead close to the inside of the right knee. You don't need to strain or pull. Just keep your chin tucked in, round your upper back, and breathe. Inhale, come all the way back up. Swivel to face the front. Other side. Start with some movements. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forehead to the left knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forehead to the knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forehead to the knee. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, come down. You can bring your hands together, your palms together as I'm doing, or if you need to, you can separate your hands for balance. It feels very comfortable. Keep your chin tucked in, squeeze around your upper back, and breathe. Then inhale, raise your arms up, then step your left foot next to your right. Exhale, hands to heart. Sacred pause. Chair pose, or some call it awkward. You're going to step your feet about hips width apart, arms up parallel to the ground. On an exhale, sit down in a squat. Keep your chest lifted and just breathe. Weight on the heels. Then inhale, come back up. Rise up on your tippy toes. Suck your belly in, lift your chest, and then exhale, sit down. Stay up on your tippy toes. Keep your torso straight and breathe. Keep your arms up. Nice, smooth breathing. Inhale, come back up, heels down. Bring your knees together to touch. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, slowly sit down. You don't have to come down very far here. Maybe you come down just a little bit, barely bending the knees. Whatever feels comfortable in your body. If your knees hurt here, then you don't have to do it at all. You can just skip it. or do a different variation. When you're done, come back up to standing, take a pause and a breath. Eagle pose. You're going to inhale your arms up, and then exhale, right arm underneath the left, crossing at the elbows. Grab your thumb, step your left foot forward, bend your knees, and bring your right foot up over your left. Pull your elbows down, or on an exhale, you could lift your elbows up. Both are good options. See how they feel. If you can bring your foot behind your calf, that's fine. If you can't, that's fine too. Do whatever's comfortable. Then exhale, come out of the posture, arms up, other side. Exhale, left arm underneath the right arm, crossing at the elbows. Pull your elbows down, step your right foot forward, sit down, then bring your left leg over your right. Pull your elbows down, or on an exhale, gently, slowly lift your elbows, stretching in the shoulders, and breathe. Then, when you're ready, you can exhale, bring your elbows down, uncross your legs, reach up at the end, exhale, hands to heart, sacred pause. Standing head to knee. Step your left foot forward, bring your right knee up. Now, you can either just hold your knee here, you could grab your knee with your hands for support, and just stay here and breathe. If it's possible, you can exhale, round forward, grab your right foot. Inhale, lift your foot, and as you exhale, begin to straighten your right leg. Focus less on getting a straight leg and more on breathing and being comfortable and standing. A lot of people really struggle here and push and pull because they want to have a straight leg, but it's not necessary. Right foot down, other side. Take a small step with your right foot, bring your left knee up. Take a breath. Exhale, round forward, grab your left foot. Inhale, lift your foot. As you exhale, begin to extend your foot out in front of you in a straight line. And just breathe, about 5 breaths. Nice and smooth breathing, no struggle, just balance. At the end, if you want to try to straighten it, go for it, but don't worry about if it's straight or not. Then exhale, left foot down, stand up straight, take a pause. Separate arms. Get a drink of water or something. Separate arms, balancing stick. No. Standing bow. Reach back, grab your right foot. For standing bow, I like to warm up by grabbing my right foot and my left foot and just kind of swinging. So now I've grabbed my right foot and I'm just swinging my knee back and forth a little bit, kind of get some motion in there. And then I switch and I do the other side. So reach back, grab your left foot, nice and gentle, and then balance and just do some swings. Swinging the knee gently, not aggressively, forward and back. And then release. And then set up for standing bow. Step your left foot forward, reach back, grab your right foot from the inside, reach your left hand up, squeeze your knees together, and then as you exhale, come forward. Lifting your right leg, kicking back, reaching forward with your left hand. Just breathe. You don't have to be aggressive here or pull or push. Just balance and breathe. Inhale, come back up, release your right foot, other side. Step your right foot forward, reach back, grab your left foot from the inside. Squeeze your knees together, reach up with your right hand, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, come forward, kick up and back with your left foot. Just reach forward with your right hand. Nice, steady breath. Balance. No need to come down far, kick up high, or be aggressive. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, stand up tall, take a breath. Okay, now separate arms, balancing stick. Step with your left foot forward. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale, open your arms, come forward, lift your right leg. Separate arms, balancing stick. Then inhale, come back up, reach up, step forward with your right foot. Exhale, come forward, open your arms, lift with your left leg. Keep your chest lifted. You can come down a little more if you want to. Open your arms. Then come back to standing. I'm going to add this other pose here that you don't have to do, but I start by bringing my hands to chest, going into a balancing stick, and then exhale, bringing my hands to the floor, bringing my left hand behind my left calf and reaching up with my right foot, bringing my forehead close to the shin. If this is uncomfortable for you or too challenging, just skip it. It's not necessary. Release, then come back up, do the other side. Step forward with the right foot, hands to chest, balancing stick, then bend the knee slightly, bring your hands to the ground. This time, I'm going to bring my right hand behind my right calf and pull my forehead close to the shin, lifting my left leg. Some people can bring their leg all the way to the ceiling in a straight line. That's clearly not me. Probably not you either. Then release, inhale, arms up, exhale, hands to chest. Turn to the right. Separate leg stretching. Bring your arms up parallel to the ground. I'm going to start with some movement in this pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come down, touch your feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward. Do 3 or 4 or 5 of these, and then when you're ready, you can bend your knees, bring your hands behind your ankles or underneath your heels, and gently pull and work on straightening the back of your legs. You don't have to. Straightening doesn't mean you have to straighten them. It means feel the back of your legs extending. Then release, step your feet about hips width apart. Bring your hands between your legs, behind your heels. Tuck your chin in around your upper back and gently lift your hips. You should feel a stretching sensation in the back of your legs. Take a few breaths here and then release and sit down in a squat. Palms together at your heart. And just breathe. Three or 4 breaths. Then bring your hands down, step your feet together. Exhale forward and then inhale, come all the way back up. Hands to heart, sacred pause. Now, before I practice tree pose, I do some knee warm-ups because I have an injury in my left knee from a few years ago. So I like to do this little move here to kind of warm up my knee before I do some of my tree postures. And you can do this as well. I also do these kind of little bouncy movements where I bring my foot into my hip crease and then wiggle my knee up and down. I do both sides. I don't do this aggressively at all, really gentle, and just get some movement in there, in my hips and in my knees. When you're ready, you can come back up to standing and we'll do tree pose. Or get a drink of water. Check to make sure that the camera is still rolling. Tree pose. Step your left foot forward and then bring your right foot up. into your hip crease. This is how I practice it. And then you can bring your hands to your heart. If that's uncomfortable for your knee or your hip, you can also do it this way. Just put your right foot in to your thigh. It could even be lower if this still isn't comfortable. It could be down by your calf. And then bring your hands to your chest, hands to heart, and just breathe and be still. Then release, other side. Step your right foot forward, bring your left foot up into your thigh or your calf or into your hip crease, hands to your heart. Just stand up tall and breathe. Be still, balance. And then relax. Now I do a toe stand here. If you have any knee pain, I would skip this, but you can try. You bring your right foot up into your hip crease, exhale, forward, hands to the ground, then bend your knee, your left knee, sit down on your left heel, and one hand at a time, bring your hands to your chest, and just try to balance. This is difficult for a lot of people to do, but of course, you can try it, have fun. Then reverse the posture, come all the way back up to tree pose. Release, and do the other side. If you attempt to do this posture and you feel it really aggravating your knee or hurting or causing any pain, then I'd recommend skipping it completely. It's not necessary as a posture. But it is something you can try. Reverse the posture. Next, I practice a posture called short man, something I learned from my teacher, Tony Sanchez. The right heel comes up into the hip crease. Again, drop your right knee onto the ground and bring your left heel in front of the knee, and then bring your hands to chest. Try to bring your torso up and balance. Again, this posture can put a lot of strain in the knees and in the hips. So if you're not open in those places or you feel any pain, don't try it. Again, I'm just introducing the sequence and the way that I practice at home and sharing it with you. And you don't have to do any of these things if they're uncomfortable. When you're finished, reverse the posture, come back up, and then exhale, both feet down. Take a pause. Next, I do some arm balance stuff, and if for arm balances, I would just say have a playful attitude. I start with a crow, so put your hands down flat on the mat, bring your knees close to your armpits or behind your triceps, lean your weight forward and try to pick your feet up off the ground, take a few breaths. Bring your feet down. I do a side crow on both sides, where I twist my knees to one side and bring all my weight behind one arm. Usually do just a couple breaths on each side. Then I do a kind of baby crane pose. Step your feet apart, bring your hands behind your heels. You can do it on your fingertips. Lift your feet up off the ground, cross them together in the front, and take a few breaths. Then come down. Next, I do side crane. I won't explain the steps here. It's a little bit complicated to explain the steps, but if you look up side crane, there'll be somebody online explaining how to potentially get into this and practice this. I just do a couple breaths on either side, and then I do a finger stand. So legs straight in front of you, lift your butt up off the ground, and then lift both legs up and take 5 or 10 breaths in your finger stand. Then drop your butt down. Next, I practice a posture called swan, where you rotate your hands so that your fingers are facing backwards. Take a deep breath, then bend your elbows and bring your whole weight onto your elbows. Elbows are in the belly region. And lift your knees up off the ground. Take a few breaths. Come back up. Next, I practice a scorpion. I think this is called a scorpion, swan, dolphin, whatever we call it. Basically, a forearm balance. Couple breaths, come down, and then I go straight into a headstand. Understand that some of these postures are challenging for people, and I just want to say that focus less on trying to do these as I'm doing them or as you see other people doing them, and let yourself not do these as well. You can skip anything that's just out of your current ability and take a break. After I do headstand, I turn around and do shoulder stand. So lay down on your back, and most people can practice this. So lay down on your back, then lift your legs and your butt up off the ground. Put your hands behind your back, underneath your butt, and use that to support yourself. And just as you can see, stay in this position with your chin tucked in and breathe. After about 4 or 5 breaths, I do some halasana movements. So inhale, lift your feet. Exhale, drop your feet down. Inhale, lift your feet. Exhale, drop your feet. You don't have to touch your toes to the ground if they don't go there, just to wherever they stop. Do this a few times, and then keep your feet down. Reach forward with your hands, grab your toes, and be nice and soft in the body here. No need to strain or pull or try to get anywhere. Just nice and gentle and breathe. After a few breaths, release, use your hands as support, and lay down on the mat. Take a few breaths in a savasana. Just relax for a moment. And then Pavanmuktasana. Bring your right knee up into your chest, interlace your fingers over the knee, and gently pull the knee into your chest. A few breaths here. Then other knee, left knee up, interlace your fingers, pull the left knee into your chest. Nice and gentle. Then exhale, grab both knees into the chest. Either wrap your arms around and grab your elbows. If that's uncomfortable, you can also just interlace your fingers and grab your knees this way. Take a few breaths here. Then release. Take a savasana. I do crunches here. This is something that was inspired by Anna Forrest and Jose and Forrest Yoga and how they practice. They almost always start their practice with core work, including crunches like these. So I put these in the middle of my practice, and you can do this as well. I think it's really valuable to do some core work in your practice. I don't do a lot of it, so just a little bit. And this is kind of a variation of what Anna and Jose teach in their class. Basically, I keep my legs lifted up off the ground, and then I inhale, exhale, go into my crunch, a few breaths, left and right, and then down. And I do about 10 of these this way. Inhale, exhale, crunch, then left, right, down. Take a breath, exhale, up, left, right, exhale, down. At the end of doing about 10 of these, I do 5 more crunches where I exhale, lift up, and then count to 10 in each crunch, each sit-up. But you can do whatever you want here. if you just like doing normal sit-ups, or if you like keeping your feet on the ground. Do whatever's comfortable and do an amount that feels right. And then when you're done, lay down in a savasana and just take a few breaths here. When you're ready, roll your body around. Lay on your belly, set up for cobra pose. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Stretch your chin forward. I begin my cobra with some cobra movements. So I inhale, lift up with my chest. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. And I try not to use my hands to push myself up or support. See how it feels to just not be using your hands and only be using your back. It also shows you the amount of mobility you actually have. And then after a few of those, I go into a normal cobra. I use a little bit of hand strength here, but I inhale and then I exhale, lift my chest and look forward and breathe. 4 or 5 breaths. Keep my elbows in, legs squeezing together, and then exhale, come back down. Hands by the side, turn your head to the right, and just relax. Take 3 deep breaths, 3 relaxing breaths. Just taking the moment again to relax the body in between postures. Locust pose, bring your hands under your body, palms facing down, stretch your chin forward. Then inhale, lift your right leg straight up, about 5 breaths, and then exhale. That leg down, other side, inhale, lift your left leg, 5 breaths, and then exhale down. Then take a breath and try to lift both legs up off the ground. They don't need to come far up. Try to keep the legs together and breathe. Couple breaths, and then bring the legs down. Release the arms by your side. Turn your head to the left and relax. 3 deep breaths. Relax your muscles. Full locust. Open your arms up wide like a bird. Then inhale, lift your arms and your legs up off the ground. Nice and gentle. You don't need to jam your neck or look straight up at the ceiling. Just lift your chest, take a few breaths, and then come back down. Turn your head to the right. Relax your body. You can extend or shorten the breaths or the amount of time you're in each of these poses. Bow pose. Reach back, grab your feet up near the toes. Inhale, lift your chest and your knees up off the ground. You don't have to lift or pull or strain. Try to relax your body actually, and just breathe. Find a comfortable position, a place you could actually be here for a long time. And maybe your knees aren't even up off the ground, and that's fine as well. Just do what you can, and then come down, release, look to the left, relax your body. A few breaths, and then push yourself up. Do a baby child's pose, release your lower back. And then sit down on your knees in Vajrasana. If this hurts your knees, you could sit on a block or a towel, or you could skip this completely if this hurts and sit in a cross-legged position. I take a few breaths here in Vajrasana, and then on an exhale, I walk my hands back behind my body. I tend to separate my feet apart a little bit. Walk my hands back, fingers facing forward. Open up my chest and breathe. I like to keep my chin tucked in here. Some people drop their head back, but see what feels most comfortable. For me, it's keeping my chin tucked in. And I take about 5 breaths here. And I focus on the breaths, really opening my chest. Each breath is lifting my chest, kind of gently opening my ribs and my sternum, And then on exhale, I come back to Vajrasana. Take a few breaths here. Then I'm going to do Ardha Krimasana, half tortoise. Inhale, arms up. Then exhale, come forward. Again, I'm going to do some movements here before I do the static posture. And you can do this however it feels comfortable for you. You inhale, reach your arms up, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, up. And then exhale. And then stay on the ground, forehead touching the mat. Reach your arms forward. You can relax here. Find a comfortable place. Or you can really engage here as well. You can reach forward with your arms, pull your hips down towards your heels. At the end, inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart. Camel pose. Come up on your knees, knees apart. For camel pose, I do some movements as well. I don't have a deep backward bend, and I have a lot of lower back pain sometimes. So I start by doing these gentle backward bends. Hands to heart. I inhale, look back, gentle backward bend, and come forward. And you could do 5 or 6 or 10 of these. Inhale, look back. Exhale, come forward. I keep my head, you can't see my head, but I drop my head back. Then I set up for a camel. I open my knees up, open my arms, keep my chin tucked in, and as I exhale, I reach back, grab my heels, take a breath, exhale, push my hips a little bit forward, and drop my head back. Since you can't see my head, just know that my neck is relaxed and I'm letting my head fall back while breathing into my chest. You can gently push your hips forward, but you don't need to. Don't strain. Then, one hand at a time, come forward and sit down back in Vajrasana and take a few breaths. Sasangasana or rabbit pose. Bring your hands in front of your knees. Take a breath. Exhale. Bring your forehead down on the mat. Chin tucked in, close to your knees, and reach back. Grab your heels. On an exhale, lift your hips. Nice and gentle. You should feel a stretching, rounding to the back. Take a few breaths. And then exhale, hips down. Using your hands for support, bring your hands back up into Vajrasana. You can either turn around and do a short Savasana here, which I do sometimes, or go into the next posture, legs out in front, Janusharasana, head to knee. So you're going to extend your right foot, your right leg forward. After getting up to make sure that the camera's still rolling and you haven't run out of juice. Okay, Janusharasana. Right foot reaches forward, straight leg, left foot in the thigh. Inhale, reach up, exhale, come down. Again, I do some movements. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. You can see that I'm not really straining or reaching excessively. I'm just being natural in my body. It's just a warm-up. And then when you're ready, you can interlace your fingers, grab your foot. You can either practice this as a mudra, like I'm doing, with your chest lifted, your chin tucked in, and just hold here and breathe. Or you can grab your foot and bring your forehead close to your knee. Make sure to bend your right knee if your hamstrings aren't flexible like mine. A few breaths and then release and do the other side. So same thing, start with some movements and then finish by doing the static posture. You can see that I'm moving fairly quickly through some of the poses, but it's recommended try taking anywhere between 5 and 10 breaths in each static posture. Most of the time I practice about 10 breaths in each posture, so it would take a lot longer in each posture. But that's not a rule. A minimum 3 breaths, 5 is pretty good, and then you can go from there. After that, stretch your legs forward, grab your big toes, Paschimottanasana, inhale, lift your chest, and then exhale, you gently pull yourself forward. By pull, I mean don't necessarily need to pull a lot. It's just a sensation. I don't have a lot of flexibility here, so I can't bring my torso all the way down. So I just be gentle in my body and have a very slight, moderate pull. Take a few breaths, release. If you can, separate your legs. Separate leg, Paschimottanasana, grab your big toe, straighten your legs, or keep them bent if you can't, and just gently pull yourself forward without any need to go anywhere or bring your head to the ground or anything like that. Just feel a stretching in the back of your legs, and then release. Bring your knees into your chest. Squeeze your elbows. Take a few breaths. Then extend your left foot forward, grab your right foot, and inhale, lift your foot up. Extend the back of your right leg. Feel a stretching sensation. Keep your chest lifted as much as possible, and just breathe here, and then bring your right foot back down. Bend your left leg, grab your left foot, inhale, extend, up, forward. Keep your chest lifted. Okay. Then squeeze your knees together again. Bring your hands behind your ankles and come up into boat pose. You don't have to straighten your legs. Just find a place where you can balance and lift and breathe. And then slowly bring your feet back down. Here I like to do these butterfly movements. Just kind of open up my hips. Then I roll forward, bring yourself into a tabletop. Sometimes I do a little child's pose here, release my lower back, and maybe I do a few cat and cows here before I step my right foot forward into a lunge. From here, I do some lunge movements. So I'm just kind of lean forward into my lunge 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And just do that gentle movement. Very simple. And then after you've done a few of those movements, you keep your hands on your knees. You can lift your chest up, look up at the ceiling, and stay there. If it's possible, you could reach back, grab your left foot with one hand or two hands, as I'm doing. But it's not necessary. If you can't grab your foot or reach it, don't worry about it. It's not important. Take a few breaths, and then I generally will do a splits here. Well, my version of a splits. So I can't do a full splits, obviously. I don't have that kind of flexibility. But I use a small postcard as a slider, and after my lunge, I'll put my right heel on there and then step forward. Nice, gentle, kind of baby man splits. I don't push or strain or bounce or do anything. I don't even try to open. I just breathe here for a few moments. And then I do the lunge the other side. So you bring your left foot forward, hands on your left knee. Just do some gentle bouncing, nice slow movements. Before going into the pose, you can reach back, grab your foot, or not. If you can't grab your foot, it's not important. One hand, maybe, or two hands. And then breathe. You can look up at the ceiling, lift your chest. 4 or 5 breaths here. And then release. around if you have a slider or you want to do a small baby splits, you can do this. Scoot your left foot all the way forward, hands to your chest, and just breathe. 3, 4, 5, 10 breaths here, or maybe a few minutes if you want. And then come back out of that. From here, I make my way to a downward facing dog. Maybe I walk out my feet a little bit, and then I'm going to go into pigeon pose. So I'm going to step my right knee right behind my right wrist, angle my foot in as much as I need, reach back a little bit with my left foot, inhale, lift my chest up, and as I exhale, walk my hands forward and bring my forehead all the way to the mat. If that's not possible, you don't have that flexibility, you can also stay up on your forearms. Your forehead doesn't have to touch the mat. Take a few breaths there or more, and then go back to downward facing dog and pigeon other side. So left knee behind the left wrist. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, walk your hands forward all the way down. Or stay on your forearms. Take some breaths here. And then back to downward facing dog. Now we do a deep lunge. You're going to step your right foot all the way in front of your right hand. Shimmy it forward if you need to with your right hand, and then turn the toes out to about 45 degrees. Either stay up on your hands with your arms straight, or if you can, come down to your forearms. You can come down and breathe here. Some people who are really flexible can bring their forehead all the way to the ground and extend their arms. That's not me. Back to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward in front of your left hands. Turn the toes out. Come down to your forearms. Or again, if this is uncomfortable, you just stay up on your hands with your body lifted a little bit, and you breathe. Itch and itch. Then step back into downward facing dog. Do a child's pose, few breaths. Okay. You could even take a savasana right there. Sometimes I do. Now I'm just going to skip it. And I do this pose called archer. I won't explain here how to get into this. It's usually confusing even in class, but you can see what I'm doing here. I'm grabbing my big toes and then pulling my foot up, kind of like a bow and arrow, which is why it's called archer. Many people have seen different variations of this posture. This is the way I practice it. A few breaths on each side, and then legs down. Next I do cow face. Come to my knees, and then I'm going to cross my right knee over my left knee and sit down like this on my butt with my legs crossed in this way. Not everybody can do this in the knees and the hips. If it's uncomfortable, just skip it. I also reach back using a strap and do a stretch in my shoulders. As you can see, my shoulders are really tight, and so this is very difficult for me. I need a strap to keep my arms back there, but I don't really focus on pulling or pulling. I just relax. So sometimes I don't even do the shoulder part. You can sit down in cow face with your legs in this position, and I'll keep my hands on my knees and just lift my chest. Today I'm practicing the shoulders like this, so I'm reaching up with my left hand, reaching back, and up and back and around with my right arm holding the strap. A few breaths here. Then release. Next, I practice something called 4-angle, a modified version of 4-angle. First, actually, I do this is called rocking the baby, where you put the foot. This one, I'm putting my right foot into my left elbow, wrapping my arms around, and then gently rocking. And then I go directly into four angle. So right arm underneath, left arm underneath, and gently lifting my chest and pulling the foot closer into my chest. Again, if this is impossible, find a variation that works for you, whatever your condition or whatever your flexibility. Most people can practice a variation of this. Sometimes if you can't interlace your fingers, you can just hold your foot with your hand, kind of gently do that rocking motion without actually interlacing fingers. Again, you could try to practice this. If it's painful or uncomfortable, just skip it. Next, I practice something called Taylor's pose. So the right foot goes over the left knee, and then pull in the left foot and sit in this position. Gently lean forward and take a few breaths. Most people will feel a stretching sensation in the hips. Especially me, I have tight hips, so I feel strong and intense stretching sensation in my hips and in my knees. And then release. Check to see what song you're on in your playlist, of course. Next I go into lotus, of course. Skip lotus if don't try to go into this posture if it's painful for your knees. Sit in any comfortable seated position. And I practice Sapana mudra with Sambandha here. So I'm doing Sapana with the hands, Uddiyana, belly in, suck the belly in, and tuck my chin in, Jalabandra mudra. And take a few breaths here, and then release. I do two twisting postures. This is what I call a warm-up twist. Legs outstretched, and then I bring my right foot over to the outside of the left knee. Take an inhale, exhale, and twist to the right. You can see the left arm over the right knee. And just gently breathe here without feeling like you need to twist very much at all. Just gentle twist, gentle warm-up twist, and then other side. So left foot over the right knee, and then twist to the left, and breathe. And then I set up for my final twisting. So I bring my left foot behind my right buttocks, and then the right foot over the left knee. Inhale and then exhale and twist to my right with my left arm over the knee. From here I can take an inhale and then exhale and twist from my belly and my chest and my neck last. Always do it in that order. Never twist or struggle or in your neck. Belly, chest, neck last. Barely any twist in the neck. You don't have to pull from the neck. Other side. Inhale, lift up, and then exhale, twist to your left. Twist from your belly, your chest, head and neck last. Nice and gentle. You can inhale, lift the chest, exhale, twist a little deeper if you want. But don't struggle here. 4 or 5 breaths, and then release. To end my practice, I do Brahmari breathing or humming. So place your hands somewhere on your body. I like to put my hand on my heart and my belly. It could be on your neck, it could be on your knees, any place you need some positive energy. And do 5 or 6 hums. Take a deep breath, deep breath, and then as you exhale, you hum. A nice slow hum. And do that 4, 5, 6 times. Feel the vibration of the hum in your body. Let it be natural. And then when you're done with that, you turn around, lay down in Savasana, and relax your body. Just relax everything. Know that you are the power of the cosmos. The universe is manifesting itself through you as you. You are fully cared for, and you are fully loved. When you're ready, take a deep inhale and exhale. And then slowly roll to your right side with a relaxed neck. Gently bring yourself back up to a seated position. Close your eyes. Just sit still. Relax. Know that you already have everything you need to be whoever it is you want to be. You're smart enough, you're strong enough, you're flexible enough, you're successful enough, you're beautiful enough. You're good enough. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today. To end my practice, I do this. Rub your hands together, create some heat, and then place your palms into your eye socket, gently pushing. It's like a little hug for your eye. Maybe it's not something you want to practice right now, but it feels really nice. It's a good way to end. Look deep, deep into the darkness in your mind and relax. Thank you so much, if you watched this, for joining me for my practice today. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope it was easy for you to follow along and participate in some way. And next time I'm able to have a class at the Yoga Shack or wherever I am, I really hope that you'll join me in person for a class. I'd love to participate and share with you in a live class. Hopefully that's soon in the future. But yeah, thanks so much, and hope I see you in class.